Hey everyone, welcome back to the M&R show. I'm Ron.
And I'm Malcolm.
And you see, we got Isaiah back on the podcast. Shout out Isaiah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to
I don't know what it is. Y'all guys want to come up with y'all waves showing and everything like that. Y'all good and everything. I got the dreads, so it's fine. I just want to make sure, the dreads still got a place in this world. Y'all got a little wave. It's like trying to look a little wavy, I just want to make sure we start off understanding where we at. But now,
sure.
So like you said, I've been on this pod a few times now. I greatly appreciate it. Ron and Malcolm continue to bringing me on and so forth. So like I said, you guys know my podcast, the Isaiah Kitt Podcast, on every platform. And excited to be back with Malc and Ron to talk some some NFC, AFC championship games.
Yeah, so going off that, this is a heck of a weekend. We got coming up. We're coming off an even better weekend, probably. So we're going to want to start with the NFC, though. We got a 6 seed, a 4 seed with the 49ers and the Rams. Who do you think takes the game?
The 49ers have had their luck, a lot of luck versus the Rams, and they've beaten them 6 straight times. I'm leaning more towards the Rams. And I think a lot of it with the 49ers having this whole 6-game win streak is that both teams are physical, but I think the Sean McVay team has a little bit more finesse, and I think that's where the 49ers kind of punched them in the mouth. But ultimately, with the Rams' defensive line, the way how they're playing, it's scary. It's really scary. Obviously, we know about the greatness of Aaron Donald. What more can we say? But Von Miller, we've been, over the past couple weeks, we've been seeing flashes of old Von Miller, and he's just beating guys off of just pure speed. And that's a scary start. That's when he's getting low and he's hitting that chop move and he's just dipping and he's beating guys just with pure speed. That's very dangerous, and I just think that adds to what the Rams have defensively. And then I look at offensively what they're doing. Obviously, OBJ, it's really good to see his reemergence come back to life. I think he really fits what the Rams would want to do. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is amazing, but then Stafford, the upgrade this past weekend versus Tampa Bay. You saw the upgrade from Goff and Matthew Stafford and some of the throws that Matthew Stafford was able to make. And I think ultimately that's what the game's going to come down to. Matthew Stafford being a little bit better, making a little bit more plays than Jimmy Garoppolo at the end of the day.
Malc?
I definitely understand what you're saying, though, and I feel what you mean. I really think the Rams are going to win this. I think the Rams have a chance to win it. I think they're definitely the better team to start off with. But we have to just make sure we just get a pure view of everything and understand that Matthew Stafford hasn't been very good against the 49ers at all. As you've seen the last game they had, we've seen that we had a couple turnovers going on with Matthew Stafford. Before that, there was this San Francisco blew them out. I really think that San Francisco has their card because based on the trenches, their defense and the offensive line, I think that with the Rams have a dominant defensive line. Offensively for the 49ers and their offensive line is very good, especially when they have Trent Williams, which is, an old Washington player, and, Ron's big guy, he's been playing like one of the best football of his career right now. With a 98 PFF grade, Ron?
Yes, 98
PFF grade? Yeah, so he's been playing good. But at the end of the day, what Jimmy Garoppolo excels at is what the Rams are not good at. So a lot of short passes and stuff like that, getting guys like, Deebo Samuel open and stuff like that, creates opportunities for the 49ers offense and gives the chance for their very good defense to be able to relax and be able to get some sit down on the bench so they can be able to have time to play against the offense for the Rams. I think that the 49ers, I think that the Rams are going to win this, but I think that when we look at the 49ers is going to be a hard beat. It's really going to be a hard beat. This team is really good, and I think that Kyle Shanahan will have this team ready.
Yeah, the 49ers, 9-2 since week 10. They were literally one of the hottest teams in the NFL, period. Like Zay and Malc said, they're 6-0 since 2019 against the Rams. They're averaging 26 points. Rams only averaging 18 points. Now, a lot of players have changed, even from the Ramses to Goff being gone to the running back situation. But still, the coaches are the same. The cores are basically the same. Aaron Donald's been there. Fred Warner's been there. Bosa's been there. It's been the same cast. He's even won with Nick Mullins one time. So it's not even just Jimmy G for all of those games. So it's crazy. And all of my friends are telling me Niners. But I just think the Rams have to win this game more. And I think that's why they come out. Because if they lose the game, it's just like, it's going to be real bad. Because what do? You run it back and you hope for injury? Like, when's the next time Brady and Aaron Rodgers are going to be knocked out? Like, unless Brady retires. So it's just like, this is the year. Like, at first I thought it was Green Bay's year. Now that Green Bay's out, like, oh, this is the Rams year now. Because I mean, this is they really put everything into this team. Like, the cap ain't you can't finesse it forever. We see the Saints. Sean Payton's like, yeah, I'm out of there, bro. 70 million over the cap. Like, yeah, sorry. Like,
hey, I understand what you mean, but think of this though: if the 49ers win this game, we have to start looking at Sean McVay and that front office. They have brought in star after star after star.
Literally.
And have
LA.
No Super Bowl wins for it. So I think that we have to start looking at Sean McVay, even though I know he's a very good coach, but we have to look at, hey, he has been given a team. We can't look at this and say he hasn't gotten a team. He said he wanted to get away from Jared Goff. He got Matthew Stafford. He wanted the receivers. Got Odell Beckham. Got different guys. Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. He got different guys over and over again. For defense, got Marcus Peters of the world. Got Akeem Talib's of the world. Got Jalen Ramsey's of the world.
The Williams kid now.
Yeah. So he has so many opportunities, and if he doesn't win, this is his big opportunity this year. And if he doesn't win it this year, they have to have questions and concerns coming with that front office, because they got no draft picks. Their next draft pick is probably when I have kids. So that that's the point. We're not going to see a first round draft pick in a long time. So it comes to question of what they're going to do with that front office if they lose. So it's a lot of pressure on the Rams for them to win this game.
Yeah, I would say the same. You look at I was thinking about the Green Bay laws. They were $40 million over the cap. And they got to do some retooling, because this is supposed to be a Super Bowl or bust year. And with the Rams, they're in a similar predicament. And I sometimes wonder, I'm like, what bank are they using? They're paying
at Wells Fargo. I tell you that.
I mean, they're paying Goff, Stafford, Donald, OBJ, Cooper Kupp. Like, they're Rams, they're paying everybody. And I just wonder, I'm just looking at the financials. I'm like, what bank are they using that certain teams aren't using? So you're right. Both of you guys are right. Looking at the situation, obviously, the quarterback change is the big thing, where you went from Goff to Matthew Stafford. Most of us tend to agree that was an upgrade as far as talent. But now with that, you got to win. So I think you guys you've raised some major concerns, but also I was thinking about the other side of the spectrum. I was like, what if the Rams win this football game, and what if they, I don't know, whoever they play between Kansas City and Cincinnati, what if they win the Super Bowl? We have 2 back-to-back Super Bowl winners, where look at that Tampa Bay team last year, where they basically went all out and added just a whole lot of names, and it worked. They struck gold at the right time. And with the Rams, this is like their second go around with adding so many names, because they did it back in 2018, like as you guys mentioned, with Marcus Peters, Talib, Ndamukong Suh. They did it in 2018, but now it seems like, what if it works this time around? That should be really interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess I wouldn't be, as a fan, like you want the team to win, but I wouldn't be upset by my team trying to win, and they're getting the right players. McVay is the right coach. So if they go down, it's like, dang, the Stafford move was an elevation, but like, maybe it was just a year too early, because this Russ Wilson's gonna be in the market, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is gonna be in the market. It might have just been too early. Like, they might just have just waited one more year with Goff, and just kind of took like because they probably would have been in the divisional round with Goff.
Yeah.
So I mean, one round, I get it, but so that might be scary for them, because now Stafford's he's played good, but it's like, is he gonna play good enough to make that investment worthwhile? When Aaron Rodgers would have been like, yeah, I'll come there, or Russ Wilson would have been like, yeah, I'll come there. So it's just, it's gonna be interesting. Then we know Von Miller's probably gone after this year. He's taking a cheap deal. Odell is also on a 1-year deal. He might be going after this year. They got a lot of players. The Williams, the corner, he might be going for. I guess Eric Wells going to retirement. Like, yo, they got some. Like, come on, bro. They got some guys they got to pay. This is really must win. I think they win the game because the 49ers are not in. This is actually not a win now. I mean, it's a win now roster, but you have Trey Lance. He's winning. He's going to be the quarterback next year. I think at least.
Yeah.
So I don't feel any type of way for 49ers fan. We overachieved. The Rams would still underachieve with loss because it's this Super Bowl of bust for this team, for the roster suggests.
And you know what's crazy though? I mean, before like we, switching this topic, what's crazy? Because I mean, Ron before was talking about how Kyle Shanahan wasn't really a good coach. How
head coach.
They only went to one. Oh, my bad. Head coach.
Different.
How they only went to like one Super Bowl and what else they did after that. They went to the NFC Championship when Kyle Shanahan finally had a quarterback. 2 times he had a quarterback. He went far. Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not talking about Aaron Rodgers. We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're not talking about any of Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. All he needed was a solid quarterback to take him where he needs to go. So I think that we need to start giving respect to Kyle Shanahan because he deserves the respect.
I still got to see him just be the head coach I think he can be, but he's still. I've just seen him almost lose games.
Take his team to
he still got that
to the division to the conference championship, and you still say you need some time to see what's going on.
Because we know he can call the game.
He done it more than what the Cowboys have done it. Yes, I'm bringing the Cowboys to the situation, but I just want to make sure
we're talking about the floor at this point. We're talking about McCarthy with time management. Like we're talking about the floor. Like I'm talking about like Andy Reid. Is to me the second greatest coach or the third greatest prior to Bill Walsh, third greatest coach of all time. He was terrible at being a head coach with the Eagles because he could not finish out games. People forget he's just getting it right in Kansas City. Yeah. He couldn't even get it right. Like he's just getting that right. And it's not just Mahomes. It's definitely a factor, but he's calling plays better in the fourth quarter now. Shanahan is literally looking like the same guy as Andy Reid with the Eagles. It might take another stop for him to really understand what the head coach is, but we'll see by the end of the day. Now, moving on to the next game, which is Cincinnati versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We checked the spread before the podcast. 7.5 points on the Chiefs. That's for a conference championship game. That might be a little frisky. Now, I am picking the Chiefs to win the game, but I do expect it to be closer than 7.5 points. This is probably a 3 to 4 point game. I think Joe Burrow. I mean. That's a heck of a quote there. I mean, he says, look, NFL is loud. It ain't as loud as SEC. Which, I mean, I'm like, SEC, I ain't gonna lie. You go to the swamp in Florida. You go to Bama with the Crimson Tide. We know what LSU fans do.
Death Valley, yeah.
We know, like, it's called Death Valley. We know what LSU fans do. So, he don't seem scared of me. Like, I'm sorry. He has yet to play a bad big game. Either is Mahomes. But he has yet to play a bad big game. I think he's going to come to play. We all know what Jamar Chase is going to do. They better bracket coverage or he's going to have another 100-yard game. Like, he's ready to go. So I'm really excited for the game. But at the end of the day, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce might be the greatest offensive trio we've ever seen in NFL history. So it's just when you have those 3 guys with Andy Reid right now, and then Bieniemy, but you have 2 guys calling plays. Like it's just overwhelming for a lot of teams. It's just overwhelming. So I think they'll beat the Bengals, but Bengals great season, and I think they still overachieved. So I want to shout out to the Bengals, but I think the Chiefs get it done. Malc.
See, I feel what you're saying. I know I keep on saying I feel what you're saying because I understand what y'all saying, but. And I wait, no, because I want to now before we go, I do want the Chiefs. The Chiefs are gonna win, but I think that when we look at a team like the Bengals, they play with that type of swagger, like they don't care. Joe Burrow throws like he don't care. Jamar Chase, catches balls and continue doing what he does, dancing at the touchdown line like he don't care. And we talked about the 3-headed trio that you got: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Pat Mahomes. You're right, but that trio. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, you got the running back. Like, I mean, That's a young trio, and that's a very good trio too. Then you got T. Higgins. And I think this offense, I understand that Joe Burrow has to be able to stand straight for almost more than 5 seconds for it, for them to be able to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
But if he's able to, and especially Josh Allen last game was able to chill, relax, see what's going on across the field. He seen that guy was coming in the middle, but he said, forget Knox, I'm going to go for the open all the way down, like a deep pass. He had time to look around, do what he wanted to do. And if you giving Joe Burrow time with that defense, with the receivers that he have, sheesh, I'm telling you think it's going to be a long game, it's going to be a long game. Josh Allen made some very good throws because, he made some very big play throws. You're going from one big play quarterback to another big play quarterback in Joe Burrow. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a problem. And we got to see. Now, the Bengals defense has to step up, and we have to see how that goes because Bills defense last week did not really step up. And, I think that will be the only problem. But this Bengals team is going to be a hard out. We talked about the 49ers team going to be a hard out. This Bengals team, with Joe Burrow playing with that confidence right now, it's going to be a very hard out. And the fact that if we don't get Honey Badger playing this week, it's going to be a long night for this defense for the Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna take Kansas City to win the game, but like as Ron mentioned, 7.5 points for a conference championship game. That's immense. That's saying a lot. I don't know if that's giving a lot of credit to KC. I don't know, but I do think this seems more like a 4-point game to me, or a field goal game type. As you guys mentioned, I think the big point that Malcolm made right at the end was Tyrann Mathieu. The health of Tyrann Mathieu in the back end of that secondary, even though he may not be what he was 2-3 years ago, he's still just so impactful, and his influence and just him being his presence just means so much to that Kansas City defense. And I often talk about with Kansas City and Steve Spagnuolo, he plays a lot of disguised coverages. So the communication at times in that secondary kind of breaks down, and then that's when you see these guys get open. Gabriel Davis caught a couple of touchdowns, just based like half of his touchdowns came off of just miscommunication in the secondary because Kansas City plays so much disguised coverages and blitz packages. Now with Cincinnati, they're going to be a tough out. I tell you this, before Joe Burrow, before this playoff run, Cincinnati hasn't won a playoff game in 31 years. They did that. Cincinnati never won a road playoff game. They did that. Joe Burrow, his swagger, his confidence is contagious. You see it all over this team, and they have overachieved. Now, in the question, and Ron noted, and Malcolm noted, the question I've been asking is, how do you win a playoff game when you give up, your offensive line give up 9 sacks? It's almost the equivalent of a baseball team winning playoff series with a bad bullpen. Like that's the equivalent. Like usually you can't win baseball like this. You can't win playoff series with a bad bullpen. That's what Cincinnati's doing. They're winning playoff games with a bad offensive line. So I'm hopefully Chris Jones can cause some disruption. Melvin Ingram got in the backfield a couple times on Josh Allen. So hopefully that'll cause enough pressure up front. But then you mentioned it, Cincinnati defense not to come to play. This is not Ryan Tannehill and him throwing three. No. This is Patrick Mahomes. This is the best player in football right now. It looks to be. And as you mentioned it, Tyreek Hill, his speed kills. Travis Kelce is a matchup nightmare. Too fast for linebackers, too big for safeties. You literally got to think about putting your best defensive back on him. And then Tyreek Hill's speed is game changing. It's almost like Steph Curry's long range distance, like his range. That's Tyreek Hill's speed. His speed kills, and you just sometimes wonder, like, how did you even get through that hole so fast? He's literally a cheetah. So I think Kansas City wins this game. I think it's gonna be it's gonna look similar to the Buffalo game with Kansas City. They're gonna give up some points. Because you're not going to be able to stop this. It's going to be very difficult to stop this Kansas City offense. But I think at times the offensive line will break down, and Kansas City get some timely stops.
Yeah, just quickly, also some keys to success for the Bengals. You got T. Higgins. Mike Williams has dominated the Chiefs for the last 2 years now. Same bill. You have T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, 10 out of 10 season. Jesse Bates is probably, if not the best free safety in the NFL. Him and Tyreek Hill, they're gonna be buddies in that back end. Chidobe Awuzie has had an amazing season. He needs to show out.
Former Cowboy.
Yeah, hey, you hate to see it. Hey, shout out Mike McCarthy and them boys, man. But he's played, he played well this season. So the Bengals got a chance, though. They do. I will be surprised if they win the game. Now, I'm giving all this. I will be surprised. But, hey, they don't call him Joe Shiesty for no reason. Any last comments?
Hey, and then if the Bengals win the game, it changes the complex of how long would you want a coach to stay on your team if you're not getting the production that you need. If you weren't about developing a quarterback, you might as well just keep your head coach in for the long run, because Zach Taylor is showing you what it would be if you're able to keep Joe Burrow with Zach Taylor. He could be able to develop in that system, understand that system from behind his back and everything like that. And I think that right now we're seeing Joe Burrow being so comfortable in Zach Taylor's offense. Everything is going easy for him right now. And you have to give Zach Taylor some credit right now. He was on the cusp of getting fired this year. They said that this was literally his hot seat, and people did not think that this will happen. Zach Taylor saved his job for 10 years. With the Bengals, how the Bengals don't fire anybody, Zach Taylor saved his job for a very long time.
Exactly. And my last thought is
they don't fire nobody.
It kind of pertains to Zach Taylor too as well. You look at all four head coaches in this weekend's games, all four offensive-minded coaches. I don't think that's no coincidence. And then, the McVay and Kyle Shanahan, obviously they were partners in crime in Washington. Now Zach Taylor was under that same tree. So it's just funny. It's just funny to see how things are working. I mean, that coaching tree is just ever evolving, and it just has so many branches just leaching out. But 4 offensive-minded coaches in this week conference championship games, I think that says a lot in the direction the league that is moving in towards. Heavy offense. Get some stops occasionally on defense.
Yeah. So, I think we covered everything. So, just again, on the Apple podcast, on the Spotify podcast, we are getting more listeners on those as well. So keep listening. If you're on the YouTube, the M&R show, subscribe, share with your friends. I'm out.
Hey man, we got our TikTok going on and popping, so make sure y'all tune into that. We got a lot of good videos on there. I know we got our Instagram. Tune into our Instagram at Malc and Ron Show. Tune into our Twitter at Malc and Ron Show. I have a lot of hot takes, because you know how Ron is with his little teams. He like to talk a little smack on Twitter. So make sure y'all tune in. And make sure y'all tune into the Isaiah Kitt Podcast. So make sure y'all tune into that, because it's very good stuff he talks about all the time. So y'all guys have a great one. So I'll see y'all though.
All right.
All right.